Today I'm going to answer a question I get all the time when it comes to budgeting using the 50-30-20 rule, and whether that's exactly the best way to budget or if there's some better options. Before we dive into that, if you are new here, my name is Brad. I make videos with tips and motivation on how to get out of debt, save money, invest for retirement, all in the hopes of reaching financial independence. If that sounds like something that you might be interested in, consider subscribing, hit that bell notification so you get told every single time I release a video or go live. If you're new to the 50-30-20 rule of budgeting, it was coined back in 2005 by Elizabeth Warren. She wrote a book called All You're Worth, The Ultimate Lifetime Money Plan, and later went on to be called one of Time Magazine's top 100 most influential people in 2010. And the issue that keeps coming up, and I think the reason why I get asked so much about this rule, is if it's relevant today, because that was over a decade ago, before the whole FIRE movement and financial independence and high savings rates. So let's dive in and take a look at exactly what the 50-30-20 rule is, and I'll even show you my numbers and see how close they come to this percentage, and also my opinion on whether I think that the 50-30-20 rule for budgeting is a good budget to follow. The numbers represent percentages of your budget. So first and foremost, we have to take a look at what our take-home pay is. So this is going to be your pay after all of your taxes and fees and union dues and things like that are taken out. If you contribute to a 401k or something, or healthcare through your employer, you're going to want to add that back in when figuring out exactly what your income is. And the reason being that those retirement is going to be part of savings, which goes into one of the percentage boxes, as well as healthcare. The biggest chunk is 50%, and this is what they're going to call your needs. The things that you need to sustain life. The things that if they were taken out of your life would suffer dramatically. And these are pretty much as basic as your four walls: your food, shelter, clothing, and transportation. Now, some of us have other needs outside that. For example, like daycare for me is a major need that not everybody has. So look at those four specific things. And then if you have anything else that's specific in your life that you need, then add them into this need category. And sometimes it's hard for us to separate what our needs and our wants are. Just remember, guys, a need is something that you need to live your life. And this is supposed to be 50% of your budget. The next percentage is 30%, and this is for your wants. This is where they say you want to put your money towards hobbies, dining out, shopping, things that make you happy. 30% of your take-home budget. These are the things where if they were taken out of your life wouldn't crumble to the ground. But these are the things that make you happy and fulfilled and give you joy in life. And the last percentage is 20%, and that goes to savings or debt payoff. This would be things like your brokerage account, your Roth IRA, your 401k, 403b, 457, or any consumer debts that you might have. Car payments, student loans, credit card balances. And that 50-30-20 will just add up to 100% of your budget. Now, I took a look at my budget over the last 6 months, and I got to be honest, when I first saw the 50-30-20 percentages, I thought there was no way that I was going to even be close to that. Well, it turns out that my needs came out to be 46% of my total take-home income. So that's my housing costs, that's my utilities, that's my transportation and all my car maintenance, and that's my daycare. A dramatic shift that I did see, though, was my wants was only 4%. My wife and I, we are not living a life of deprivation at all, but the one thing we did want wasn't tangible. And the one thing that we did want in the past 2 years was to get rid of our debt. And that is why 50% of my take-home income over the last 6 months has gone to debt payment. And the beautiful thing is I've pretty much learned how to live this way on not really needing that much and being able to store a lot of money towards debt. So now that I'm debt free, I'm hoping that I can keep that large percentage that was going to debt and now make that into savings. As far as my opinion on the 50-30-20, I think first and foremost, if you're budgeting at any percentage, that's a step in the right direction. Like, good for you. but I think you can kind of use this as an outline. I think there's one major section, and that is the 50%. Guys, if your needs to live are going over 50%, you really need to look at cutting some of those down, whether it's, changing your housing situation or your car situation. The needs are the really big ones, and I really don't think you should be much higher than 50%. So I'll agree. Like, don't try and come up to 50 if you're under it like I am. But if you're over 50, really look to cut that down and try and get as close to 50 or below 50 as possible. The want section, I totally agree. You need wants in your life. You need hobbies. You need things to spend money on. And I think now that we're debt free, that value for me is definitely going to go up. But I think it's going to probably stay more along the lines of 10%. We are really focused on our high savings rate and saving money for retirement. So I think, if we can stay around 10% of our income every single month going to the things that make us happy, like we love red wine, we love our gym memberships, we love our Chipotle nights, like those are things that are really wants for us. And I think if we can keep those wants right there around 10%, we'll be doing awesome. And then the rest, which will be between 40 and 50% of our income, will now be going to savings. And how that relates to financial independence, save as much money as you can now to live off of later. That's as simple as that. I hope that pretty much summed up what the 50-30-20 rule is. If it did, do me a favor, please give this video a thumbs up so YouTube knows that it brought some value. And until I see you on the next one, guys, stay positive, work really, really hard. Always be kind to other people. Hope you have yourself an amazing day and an even better tomorrow.
No.